Welcome! In this series of short videos, we will look at topics for the PowerBasic Windows compiler. Today we will look at the topic of designing graphical user interfaces, or GUIs. Today we're going to be looking at GUI design. Specifically to look at 4 approaches or techniques to lay out your graphical user interface. We're going to look at 4 ways of doing this. A simple dialog, the tab control, scroll bars, and scroll bars on the dialog itself. So let's first start with the simple dialog. When designing a form, it's important that your dialog is cleanly laid out, so there is no confusion from the user as in how to actually fill in the form. Therefore, you don't want your forms to be too crowded. What we have on screen here is a very simple form. There are 2 text fields and a drop-down list. The focus for the user is currently on the "Please enter your name" field. The user can then enter a telephone extension and pick a department from the list. On this particular form, once all fields have been filled in, the user can then click on the Do It button. The code behind this button will pull the information out of the 3 controls and display it to the user in a message box. This demonstrates how you can get information from controls on a dialog, and then your code can decide what to do with that information. Is it to be saved to a database, passed to further on functions within the application, or just sent to a text file? If there is more information which you need from your user, you can put more controls on the form. But you will get to a point where there are too many controls on the form. There is just not enough room for them. You can make the form bigger, but again, you're going to be limited by the size of the screen your users are using. So one approach when you reach this scenario is to divide your information amongst several different dialogues. Gather some related information on the first dialog, and then give the user a next button to go to a second dialog, and a third, and possibly even a fourth. This keeps each individual dialog quite simple and straightforward to fill in, and it doesn't get too crowded on the screen. I'll put links in the description below to these videos, as these are videos we have already prepared. I'll also put a link at the top right hand corner of this screen. So let's look next at tab controls. In this application, there are more controls on the screen. And in the bottom section of the screen, we have a single tab control. On that tab control, you can position many controls. At the moment, I just have a label control on it. This allows you to set up multiple tabs. We now have 2 tabs. And each tab, when clicked on, will display the controls that are relevant to that tab. So you're effectively reusing your screen real estate. If you have 8 tabs on the screen, it makes very good use of your screen real estate, as you can put a great number of controls effectively on the screen, and the user will only see the controls relevant to the tab you're clicking on. However, what if you want the user to be able to see all the information on the screen without using a tab control? Let's have a look at another example. If we look at the scroll bar example, in here we have dynamically added 10 text boxes and 10 labels. There is also a scroll bar on screen that allows you to scroll down. And we are dynamically showing up to 100 different controls, or so it would appear to the user. So we've managed to fit these in on our screen by using a scroll bar. So can we go further? Can we put scroll bars on the dialog itself? So should the monitor being used by your user not be large enough or a high enough resolution to display the form you would like to show them, can we put scroll bars on the form to allow the user to scroll further down the form? If we have a look at the scroll dialog example, you will see on here we have a number of labels and text boxes on the screen. And we have a scroll bar, a vertical scroll bar on the dialog, and a horizontal scroll bar on the dialog. This effectively gives you a dynamic form, and you can scroll down quite happily to further down in the form and show controls that are not initially visible. This would allow you to have a form of a considerable size. So if you required a great number of text boxes or labels, or even multiple buttons, drop-down lists, or grid controls, putting a scroll bar on the dialog itself does give you the ability to do that. This technique was covered in a previous video. Again, I'll put the links in the description below, and a link in the top right hand corner of the screen to this particular project. This will allow you to watch in detail how these forms were actually set up. So this has been a short introduction to GUI design. There are many additional things we can do in GUI design, but we'll leave those for a later video. That's it for today. Thank you for watching.